My name is Alan Berry, and I sing with the gospel group called the Berry Brothers. We've been singing now for a number of years. The group includes, of course, myself. I'm the lead singer, and my brother Steve and my brother Doug Berry. And we've traveled all over the country, really, singing gospel music. We started singing as a group, really, about 20 years ago. And at that time, we went by the name of the Berry Singers. We had a couple of other folks who sang with us then from Fredericktown, Brian and Crystal Kinder. And we traveled around and did a lot of singing. But the Berry name goes way back in gospel music, in fact. My dad sang with his brothers, and they began singing in 1950, and the name of their group was the Berry Quartet. He and his brothers, and they became a very well-known gospel group throughout the 50s and to the early 60s. Traveled around and sang a lot, and then they sort of went their separate ways and got involved in ministry in various churches. But then some other Berry family members have had gospel groups as well. I had some cousins who had a group called the Berryettes who were very popular. In fact, won first place in the National Quartet Gospel Music Convention in Memphis, Tennessee back in the late 60s. And they continue to sing today, some of them. But my brother Steve and I started singing in about 1971 with a gospel group called the Young Messengers. Obviously, we were a lot younger back then. And it was a quartet made up of myself and my brother Steve, Rick Ferguson, a very good friend of ours, and Alan Null, who sang bass. We had a little band that played behind us, drums and piano and bass guitar. And we traveled throughout the Midwest and the South, singing gospel concerts, doing gospel concerts, and also doing a lot of revivals. Rick Ferguson was a preacher. We also had another bass singer that sang with us for a while named Denver Copeland, and Denver was also a preacher, and so we did a lot of revivals. Youth revivals were very popular back then, and we did a lot of those, and it was just an exciting time. We traveled around. We recorded two projects. And that group disbanded, I guess, about 1975. And then we started another group called the Berry Singers. That was my brother Steve and I. And my brother Doug, my youngest brother, joined us playing the drums. And then Brian and Crystal Kinder, as I said, sang with us as well. And we recorded the project. And in fact, that particular project, one of the songs on there called Hallelujah Meeting, reached the gospel music charts, reached number 15 on the gospel music charts, ahead of the Blackwood Brothers and the Hensons, and so we were pretty proud of that. And it turned out to be a very good project for us. We traveled for several years singing, and with the route of a lot of gospel groups. We bought a bus, and we traveled all over the country in that bus singing. And most of the time, like a lot of gospel groups, the bus was broke down more than it was running, but we continued to go. Then about 1979, we quit singing and sort of went our separate ways and got into ministry, various ministries. I became a pastor, pastored several churches through the years. Sang with another group as well called Cornerstone. We had a group that sang for several years. My brother Steve and my brother Doug started a kind of a country gospel group, and they did a lot of country shows and had a great band and just did a great job with their country shows. But then about 1995, we decided that it was time to start singing again together. And so the three of us went into the studio, recorded a CD project, and started booking dates, and right away became very busy. And it was amazing how many people, even though it had been nearly 20 years or about 15 years since we had really sung much, how many people remembered us and how many people were so anxious and so glad that we were singing again, anxious to hear us. And we began to take a lot of dates and sang just all over the place. We went to Alaska for several trips up there to do concerts. We went out to the West Coast and did some concerts, and the East Coast and down into Florida and did a lot of concerts and just traveled around doing a lot of gospel music ministry. And then we, not too long ago, we recorded a Christmas album which is still very popular today. A lot of people ask for our Christmas album. We do a Christmas show every year that is very well attended. It's a sold out crowd each year. And just a lot of family music, gospel music. And our family members, our wives and our kids, they join us in that Christmas show, and it's just a lot of fun. Just about a year ago, then, we went into Master's Touch Studio and recorded a new album. And my goodness, we've had such good reviews of that album, and people have enjoyed it so very much. And we continue to travel and plan to do that in the future. Got lots of things coming up. We're scheduled to sing at Silver Dollar City, which we're looking forward to doing that for their gospel music show down there, and the convention they have for that. And just continue to plan on singing as long as we can. We haven't slowed down much, and we hope to be able to record more projects in the future, and just go where God leads us. We don't know exactly where that's going to be, but we have an idea that His plans are going to be great, and we want to be a part of it. We're grateful to be able to carry on the legacy of the Berry family. It's been going now for almost 60 years in gospel music.